Hi, this is a follow-up video to my neck turning video I've done on my cases, on my 223 cases. And now I've neck turned them, I need a bushing die set to get the right neck tension, because now the walls of the actual neck are slightly thinner because I've turned them. So I've invested in a Reading Competition die set. And the bushing die here, you can interchange different bushings inside to get the right tension you want. Now in my case, I've selected a bushing to go in there of a 248. It's a 248 bushing, and the reason and how I've come to that is, how you find out what you need is, I like 0.02 of neck tension less than it would be with a loaded bullet in the end. So basically what I do is I do a dummy round. I get an empty cartridge and I seat a bullet in it, obviously after the necks have been turned, and then I measure the diameter across the neck from side to side with the bullet in it. And again, in my case it was measuring 250, so I want 0.02 neck tension, so I selected a 248 bushing, which is in the bushing die. And I'll show you how to set that one up on the next video following this one. The bushing die comes with a decap pin, which I've taken out because these are new cases, so I don't need it. So I've unscrewed that, by the way, in case you notice it in the next video that it hasn't got one. Right, now firstly, these cases, I just want to size from the shoulder down. I don't want to touch the neck, and this die in this set allows me to do it. That's all it does. It just sizes from the shoulder down. So I've set this up. One thing I will show you is the neck. See the hole in the top of that die there? The neck of your actual cartridge just flops around in there, so we know that the neck isn't going to be touched by this. So let's just plonk this in. That's it. So how I set this die up is I set it up with a tad of cam over. Yeah, that's just a tad of. It's got cam over on it, which means basically the ram it's impossible for it to go up any further than it is because it's camming over. And that's how I set this die up for my cartridges, because I know they're going to be perfectly body sized. When I say the body, I mean from the shoulder to the bottom. The neck isn't being touched here. That's what the bushing die is for. Okay, so I'll call it that for this particular video, and then on the next one I'll show you how to set the bushing die up and what I do with that. Okay, cheers, bye then. Hi, just a follow-up regarding the competition body sizing die that was in the previous video that I did. A problem you get sometimes if you just if you're fire forming your cases, after whatever 4, 5, 6, 7 times they're fired, even though they're nicely fire formed to your chamber, after a few firings you can find that they actually chamber in your rifle a bit stiff. They've just swollen to their maximum size, and they're just binding a bit when you chamber your round. So what I bought to go alongside this body sizing die, which again sizes from the shoulder down, is I got these this competition shell holder set, the Reading set, and there they are inside. This spare section here is where you just put your normal Reading seating, sorry, your normal Reading shell holder just goes in here. Now what these do is you can vary the amount of bump you want to put on your shoulder. If it starts to stick in your chamber, your cartridges, your rounds, you can actually bump the shoulders back slightly without sort of full length sizing them, or sizing the whole of the body of the case. You can vary the amount of bump you put on the shoulder with these. And how these do it is the actual, just let me take one out, the actual thickness of this shell holder here, you know, from the bottom to the top, they vary in this set. So obviously you've got your standard shell holder, which I've got in here, and the standard depth of the shell holder would just would basically size your case back down to sort of factory spec, and you don't want to do that. You just want to bump the shoulder back a touch, just so it chambers nicely. So these shell holders, as you go up, they're numbered. What are they? They're numbered from, where are we? Let's get the light right on here. You've got a number 2, a 4, a 6, an 8 and a 10. And that basically refers to the thickness of that section of the shell holder I showed you. So if you just want to just slightly bump it back, you put the deepest one in first, and then when you push your cartridge up into it, you'll find that it sort of doesn't touch the shoulder at all. It doesn't do any sizing. So what I do basically, I start off with the thickest one, and I run my cartridge through with the thickest one, and then with that cartridge I'll just chamber it in my rifle, and if I still feel it sticking a bit, then I'll take that shell holder out and I'll go down. Let's just say the thickest one is number 10. I'll go down to the number 8, and then I'll size it again with the number 8, and then I'll chamber it again in my rifle to see if I've lost that bit of tension in the chamber. If I have, and it chambers really nice, then fine, that's done. And then you can write on a bit of paper or whatever what shell holder you need to bump your shoulder back just that fraction. So whenever you get that sticking feeling again with that batch of cartridges, and you just want to bump it back perfectly, you just use that number shell holder in here with your body sizing die all set up. And of course, like I said before, the breech lock bushing in here goes back in to the die set box with that on. So I'll just plonk this back in again. I'll put the number 8 shell holder in here, and I know it's going to give me the perfect bump for my particular chamber. Okay, that's the end of that. Cheers. Okay, now the bushing die set up. How I set it up, and I set it up how it says to set it up in the instructions in the competition die set box. So I'm going by what Reading says. I've seen online a few people, they use the cam-over method on the bushing die and on the bullet seating die, the competition ones, and that's not what Reading says. It's not the right way to do it. It doesn't want you to put any pressure on the sleeve that guides the round. So I'm just going by the instructions for this. The body sizing die that I spoke about in the last video, you can cam over on that because it hasn't got the sleeve in it, and the sleeve, what this does is it guides your case. It keeps your case perfectly in line with the RAM and the die. So when your case is actually being inserted, everything's really true and directly upwards. There's not hardly any variance, which really helps big time for any sort of run out issues. It keeps everything dead straight. So I'll just show you how I set this up. Right, you've got the body. I'll strip this die down and I'll put it back together and sort of show you. So that's just the body itself. Then you get your sleeve, which goes in the top of the die. I'll just hold it there for a minute before I drop it in. And I've got my bushing, which is a 248 bushing, which is the size of neck that I need to get the right neck tension. You know, it's all going to vary, but I've measured mine and this is what I need. This drops in the top of the sleeve, and then you've got this part which is next. This actually pushes onto the top of the bushing, so this enables you to partly size the neck or fully size the neck with the micrometer on top. As you wind it in and out, it gives different sizing to the neck, so you can size a small portion of the neck or all of the neck, and I'm going to size all of the neck. So I'm just going to drop this sleeve in and just let go of that so that drops in. Then your spring goes over the top of the bushing plunger like so, and then the micrometer goes on top of the spring. You compress the spring and tighten that micrometer up and keep going until she's fully in. Give her a little twist. Okay, right, again I'm going from the instructions, so this is how I set it up. Screw her in, not all the way but just partially, then you push your ram right to the top, and I've got my thumb on it to hold it there. You carry on turning until you feel the die body, not the sleeve, the die body, because you want the sleeve compressed in. You feel it touch on the shell holder, and there it is there, it's just touching. Right, now what they say to do, and it works because I've done it before, is on the micrometer, your readings on this part of the body, you want them facing you. So you turn this die anti-clockwise, so in other words you bring it out slightly away from the shell holder till those reading marks are in front of you and you're looking straight at them, and that's the clearance that they state you need for this. It stops any damage to the sleeve. It's got to be off a bit from the shell holder. And then what you do is, once you've done that part, you just keep the ram down. I then tighten my lock ring down, and Allen key that up. Nice and tight, but not too tight. And then what you do is the micrometer adjustment on the top, you turn that clockwise. In other words, it's pushing that plunger down towards the bushing till you feel that bottom out on the top of the bushing, which it just has. Okay, just bottomed out there. And put my glasses on for this bit. And then what you do is you move 5 thousandths back on the actual dial. That's 5 thousandths. Now that's set up now how Reading wants you to use it. So that's how I'm doing it. Right, ram down. Now that's titanium nitrate, that bushing, so you don't really need to lube these case necks, but I'm going to lube them anyway, and I use the Imperial wax, the Reading Imperial wax. I'm just putting a bit on the outside of the neck. I'll just put a couple through for you just to show you. So that's just sizing the neck. And how I've got this set up, it's sizing all of the neck, okay, not part of it. Okay, that's one. And that's two. With that Imperial wax on there, as well as the titanium nitrate bushing, it's just beautiful. It goes in there so smooth. So we're not putting too much work on that cold brass. It's just lovely like that. Okay, and the next vid I'll be doing will be the bullet seating with the competition die, and I'll show you how to set it up. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. Hi, I'm just going to quickly run through with you how to set up your bullet seating die, the Reading competition bullet seating die. It's very similar to the bushing die in the video previous, but anyway, I've stripped it down, and there's your actual die body. You've then got the sleeve, which acts in the same way, keeping the actual cartridge nice and straight when the bullet's doing its seating. Right, the difference with this is the top of the sleeve, you've got a little hole there, which this bullet seater goes into. This is the actual seating stem, and the tolerances on this are really tight, because if I put this in the hole here and let it go, it doesn't drop in, it just stays there. And when you push it down, it's just like pushing against air. You can feel a bit of resistance there. So those tolerances are so tight. It's just really good. Right, I'm going to drop that sleeve in now. And you've got your spring on top, micrometer, okay, do that up. For a snugger down. Okay. Right. Starter off in there. Bring your ram up, and I've just got the side of my leg on the handle to make sure that rams up. And this is the same as the bushing die. You screw this die down till the die body touches the shell holder, not the sleeve, the die body. So I'm screwing it down. Right, so just touched. And now what you've got to do is, again, the same as bushing die. You've got the marks here, the reading marks on the stem, not the barrel, on the stem. You want them facing you, so you turn this anti-clockwise till they face you. Just there. Then you lock this lock ring down. And like I say, this is how Reading wants you to set it up so it doesn't hurt the sleeve in any way with the shell holder. I'm just going to tighten this up. Okay. Right, and then what I'll do is I'll just back this micrometer off the reading at the top part, just so it's not going to seat the bullet too deep. And then you're ready to go, seat your bullets. So that's how you set that up. Yeah, okay, see you then, bye.